everybody. Welcome to the next episode on Sharmila Talkies. Today, I will be talking to Rebecca Kurian, who's the Vice President of Growth at Entropic. She has about 21 years of experience in the IT industry, mainly in the marketing area, and she's worked with various companies like Dell, Logmein, Akamai, and other startups. Let's go ahead and get started. Hey, Rebecca, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm very, very well, Sharmila. It's lovely to see you after such a long time, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's same here as well. Lovely to see you after a really long time. And thank you for agreeing to give a talk on my talk show here. And like we
Very,
discussed,
very happy to be here.
thank you. Thank you again for taking time up on a weekend and doing this. So since you know how the flow is, Rebecca, we can just get started with a quick introduction about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Rebecca Kurian. I am a hardcore tech marketing person. I've completed 20 years in the tech industry in 2023. I started my career in 2003. So I'm entering my 21st year of
Wow.
working in tech. Yeah, all who have been in different tech companies, early part of my career. Actually, I started my career as a salesperson,
Mm-hmm.
selling computers and laptops in Dell, and that's how I started. And I thought I might do I might be a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
During the course of the time, marketing happened to me, about 15 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
then there was no turning back, and I've been a marketer since then. And so that is me in a nutshell. Early part of my career, I have been with large corporations, a billion and over. And these days I'm with startups. So it's very exciting and very different worlds, but it's very, very exciting. And I'm enjoying this space too.
Okay, nice, nice. Thanks, Rebecca, for that quick intro. Now, since you said you've always been in the marketing space, right? The next question is around that, related to that, right?
Yeah,
So, in your role, managing all aspects of marketing, revenue, and customer retention, it's a significant responsibility, right? So,
right.
what strategies have been particularly effective in driving growth based on your experience?
So Right. So growth, the definition of growth for an organization is basically what percentage have we actually added in terms of top line or bottom line over, certain parts of year. So year one, year three, year five, how have we grown and what percentage, right? This is a major metric that folks, look at today. So the way I drive growth is there is a significant part of adding net new business, which means like how do we get new customers to come on board, right? So a lot of the marketing is to drive the kind of pull strategy to get customers that are the right, kind of persona that buys your product. First create kind of interest, educate them of our product, and then basically take it to market, right? So that is the first step that we do, which is to drive a lot of the net new or the new business that we have to do. The second part of the whole growth is to grow your existing business, right? So once they have already used one of our products, maybe a department is using, how do we basically get more folks or more departments? How do you get more users to be a part of it?
Mhm.
That is the whole retention model. And then also, how do we then also make sure once we have these customers on board, how do we make sure they don't churn, they don't go away from us, that they're happy and we're taking care of their needs and we are keeping them, happy and all of their problems are sorted, for whatever they had come to us for. That is sort of making sure the retention happens. So all of this coupled together actually drives that growth rate for us. So keeping and making sure that all of these are working hand in hand, and for each you will have to do different strategies, right? So
Mhm.
in net new you have to do a lot of acquisition strategies, a lot of outbound marketing to kind of create interest. When you're driving like upsell and cross sell, or you're trying to grow your base, then you're doing mostly things around educating within your customers. And when you're also trying to do retention, it's really about customer success and making sure the customer is happy. And we are building exec connects there, and we're listening to them and we're solving their problems. So I think these three combined together drives the growth. And there are a lot of tactics you can do in that, but this encompasses the whole growth sort of story for most organizations.
Okay, perfect. I think that was very well explained, Rebecca. How
Thank
do you
you.
kind of manage these three areas, right? When you say it's a blend of all three, right? The way you look at new customers versus retaining customers, and also like keep customer satisfaction kind of plays a key role, whether it's the existing customers or new customers, right? And with changing technology, I think, like you said, you've always been though marketing, you have the understanding of technology as well. Only then you can excel in the
Mhm.
marketing area as well. How do you kind of strike a
Right.
balance among all of these?
So it depends from companies to companies and what stage they are in, right? So let's say to these days I'm with startups, and startups don't have a lot of base customers. So
Right.
while retention and growing existing customers is important, it's a very small percentage of what they have to do from a growth point of view.
Okay.
So in this case, you focus a lot on net new acquisition or acquiring net new customers into the business. We both worked at LogMeIn, right? LogMeIn in India, they were in acquisition mode
Right.
because we were growing the India business. But
Right.
let's say in a much more established country like the US,
Mhm.
they have probably like 50% focus on net new,
Mhm.
and let's say they have 50% on retention and retention and growth of the existing base. So the way you would do is depending on what stage of that company is in. So you would apply that strategy basis wherever they are at whatever kind of growth stage they are as a company.
Okay, okay, perfect. Thank you so much for explaining that further. Okay, so the next one here is you have the credit of building high-performing marketing teams that have won multiple awards. I am aware
Yeah.
of personally. So, what principles do you believe that contributed to the team's success?
So I think for me, people are the most important part of the puzzle.
Yeah.
So I think I always try to hire people that are smarter than me because you tend to learn from them.
Great.
So if your team is very aligned, and one of the reasons that teams do not succeed is because there is no single strategy, focus, vision, mission, and people are just doing their different things, and they're coming to work and doing what they have to and going. So I think the first thing you can do is to build one same goal, same focus. So that's the first thing that I do. I definitely make sure that my team is way smarter than I am. I invest in good hiring, and this is like a call out to everybody that I've hired. I think you are way smarter than me, or you bring something onto the table. So I think giving them an opportunity to sort of explore that. I'm not a very micromanager in the sense I don't
Great.
tell people like I want this and that and that. So because I feel if you've hired smart people, you tell and you give them a goal and a vision, and then you set a sort of the scope in terms of what needs to be done, and you let people be. I think the creativity is at its best, right? So I am that sort of a manager where I will support you when you need me, but I'm not coming every day to check whether you did it like this versus you did it do it another way. So I give that freedom, flexibility to my team. So I think people is the major reason, I think, on setting up great teams. And then having a great product to market is a add-on. You cannot market a bad product. So having a great product will be a nice thing for the company. And then that's it, right? Like you have a combination of good marketers that are sort of really like set in the right sort of tone, and they're all aggressively going after, and you have a great product. It's like fire that you can't stop anything, and they are just set to definitely be successful.
Great, great, Rebecca. I think it's very difficult to acknowledge sometimes that, you are ready to hire somebody who's smarter than you, right? And to openly say that, yes, I do hire and I leave them on their own. I know a lot about micromanagement. That already has spoken. I've been part of such teams as well. I know how
Yeah,
difficult it is, right? It's like you kind of curbing people's
yeah,
ideas. And to
yeah,
openly say, yes, I am hiring only people who are better than me and who are smarter than
yeah.
me. I think to call it openly is like, thank you. And I think there's
I think
evidence
it's
that
about
that is.
what,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's about how you want to be treated, right? You treat the people the way you want to be treated. Like If somebody hires me, they're hiring me because I know certain things. And if I don't know, I should be having the freedom and the trust to come and ask you that, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? But
Mhm.
otherwise, you assume that I know how to do this, and you have to give me some credibility to do my job, right? Rather than coming and telling me, hey, Rebecca, like I want this to be done, but I also want it to be done XYZ like this, and this should be like this. It's not a good environment, you see. So I try to make sure my team is in a encouraging, good pace when they come into work.
Lovely. So you treat them like the way you want to be treated. Great.
Absolutely.
Lovely, lovely, Rebecca. Thank you so much for that. Next one. So, being a
Yeah.
strong advocate for women's leadership, how do you actively contribute to the empowerment of women in your organization and beyond? I know about one event that we did in Lockbeam, but I know you've been doing so many others. So, I would like to hear more around that.
I wish I was doing more than I am doing right now, to be very
Uh-huh.
honest. I'm not doing as such because, startup, when you work in the startup ecosystem,
I
it
know.
sucks 99% of your time. So I wish I could do more. But
Mhm.
I think for me is to tell my story to women, right? Because this is my 21st year. I did not have anybody, hold my hand. I've had great
Mhm.
mentors down the way, and you and I, we work for such great organizations with wonderful leaders. So I've had the opportunity to learn from all of them. So,
Mhm.
what am I doing to give back to these women?
Mhm.
So, that is my way of telling them my story. And then I always, a lot of people, women come with me with certain situations that they go through. And
Mhm.
my job then is to sort of help them
Mhm.
overcome it the way I would overcome it, right? So, and how I may have overcome it in the past. I think that's how I contribute. But I wish I was doing more that I'm doing right now. And this is like teaching and giving away whatever I've learned is like like this is something I want to do for free, right? Like I want to be able to give away for free because I feel that I want to help as much people as I can to
Mhm.
be successful. We need more strong women because we know women are great workers. Women have so much accountability. They are, they have a lot of finesse in the work, kind of work that they do. So I want a lot more women. And, interestingly, the percentage of women that actually cross over to the leadership role is
Right.
so, it drops off at that point, right? So, and some of the issues we can't solve for, like I have, looked at the report that was released on this last year. A lot
Mhm.
of women are not able to move forward because of commitments at home and things like that, right? Like their children need them, or it's so some of those things I think the world still hasn't been able to solve for. But
Mhm.
and then also a lot of organizations are doing this coming back to work, but then also when you're coming back to work, you
Mhm.
still are starting a little bit lower, right? And you've lost some time. So I think some of that we haven't solved for. But
Mhm.
my goal as a mentor for women is to tell my story, is to help them out,
Mhm.
is to, keep telling them that I have failed 100 times.
Mhm.
And the only thing you should not do when you fail is to stop and say I'm not good for it, right? Like I think you just need to build more confidence to do better. So telling that story to people is the best way I can contribute to help women to like keep moving forward.
Right. Agreed, Rebecca. I think I have also heard about your story, partially in the one that we've had way back in Logmein. I think that kind of sets
Yeah.
an example. And like you mentioned, right, 21 years is like a really long time in the industry to
Yeah.
continue
Yeah.
and grow, right? So your
Yeah.
story kind of holds that value as well, saying it is basically totally from your experience.
Yeah.
I think that kind of definitely motivate other women also to continue irrespective of whatever obstacles they hit on, right? Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the bottom line is to
Mhm.
not stop, is not to doubt yourself and not to stop. I think the minute you want to take a day, a week to cry it out, to like walk away, go for a vacation, do whatever you need to do. But the
Come
goal
back.
is after that is over, come back. Doesn't matter, pick up, move on.
Great. I think I will take that as a tip as well for myself. Thank you. Thanks, Rebecca. So, in continuation to that, right? So, as a mentor, what advice, I think you all almost answered that, would you often provide to aspiring women? I think one of them is to never stop. But how else
Yeah.
they actually rise higher in their careers?
Yeah. So, some of the things is that, like, and out of experience, I think women tend to listen to sexist comments and be okay with it, right?
Mhm,
And if you at workplace at any time hear when somebody calls you out because you're a woman, you can't do this, or because of,
mhm,
this reason you can't do this,
mhm,
in some, so my career, that's happened when I started,
mhm,
I've said this story when we were starting to do business in the government space. There was a sales leader a male sales leader who walked up and said, "Hey, women typically don't do any work, don't work around the
mhm,
government, like they don't work there." I was like, "What are you talking?" Yeah, I was like,
mhm,
what? I'll be the first one if it doesn't happen, but I'll be the first one. So I think women should not listen to anything that is uncomfortable and keep quiet.
yeah.
Voice it, show your concern. Don't feel bad about how it offends the other person. If you are
Mhm,
not vocal and your voice is not heard,
mhm,
that
mhm,
many more chances of being subdued. So be vocal about things, speak your mind, and if you feel like it's something somebody has said to you and it is not right, speak out. So this I have experienced in my career, right? Like, as I have seen my own women colleagues growing up, I was
mhm.
a different breed altogether, because I used to, like, never take to use the word shit from anybody. But I would see a lot of women that would be said something and they'd go quiet and they'll be like, "Oh, he said that to me. What did you do about it?" So you're not like weaker than anybody, you are equal. So, speak your mind out. So move on, speak your mind out. Don't take, anything that is negative that is, put on you. The younger generation, I have a lot of, 20-year-olds working for me these days,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
I feel like they are much more stronger. Like, I feel like they come and tell you if they don't like something, they will talk about it with you, saying, "I didn't like this," or, I think our generation was not like this. So that, I think, is coming from this generation. The only problem with the women in today's generation is that they just want to move so fast. Like, they don't want to give in time to anything. They'll do something for 1 year and they'll think, "I'm great at this now, I need the next level." So the other advice to women is, especially young women, is,
Uh-huh.
I wish, like, I'm sure you're amazing and I'm sure you can learn things in 1 year, but there's something called as experience, which comes out of being in something for some time. So, there's a story which is about what do you build your foundation on? You want to build it on sand, or you want to build it on solid, like brick and mortar? So I would say, spend time, build your foundation, and let it be strong, so that when you climb up, like, nothing can rock you. And so you are climbing much more stronger. So I think these would be my advices to women, right? One is to keep moving on. Two is, uh, voice, speak up. And three is, build a strong foundation that as you grow up in career, that nobody can pull you down.
Yeah, okay. Very well said, Rebecca. I think it was nice of you to actually mix our generation, or, somebody who's like 20 years
Yeah.
old career versus now who's just started their career. I do agree to a large extent where today people are very smart, whether it's the girls or boys, the youngsters are extremely smart, but at the same time, you look at in 3 years, probably the guy has jumped four companies in 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Got it. Cool. Thank you so much for that, Rebecca. The next one. How do you envision the
Yeah.
role of AI-based research platforms evolving in the coming years?
So I think AI is going to be a great assistant to people, right? It's going to make your lives easier. So rather than thinking of AI as a threat, the way you would look at it is, how's AI going to make my work life more efficient?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in our space, right? What we do is we are giving you a lot of insights based on AI, which we would have otherwise had to spend a lot of time doing this pretty manually. So if you think of AI as an assistant, as a like a somebody that's going to make your job life easier,
Mm-hmm.
then I feel like AI is going to be a powerful thing that is going to support you. So AI is not going anywhere. It's going to be around for the next couple of years. It is going to be getting very stronger, and the focus of AI is going to be, how is it going to assist your job, right? From writing an article to, making a website prototype for you, to, editing your podcast for you. So think of things that you would do, which is, I'm sure you don't like editing your podcast. Imagine if there was an AI to edit your podcast. Imagine how many more podcasts you'd be able to churn out. So think of AI as that thing that is going to make your, time much more valuable, that you will spend it on more effective things rather than these mundane activities, which AI can do for you. So that is the future of AI. That's where the investment is going to come. That's where people are going to start using it. How do I, take a bunch of data and churn it really quickly and give you a lot of beautiful insights out of it? How do I do all these mundane activities, write a bunch of articles for you, which you can now take and, modify the way you want? How can I create more videos for you? You can put the things that you like and create it, and you edit it possibly. I think all of this is, super important, and it's going to be the future for sure. The only, I think, the downside to it is the ethics part of the AI, right? Like, how do you use this data that you're collecting, and then don't use it to hurt anybody, like deep fake and stuff that has happened. So there will be a lot of, rules and regulations around AI that will also be, hugely part of our lives in the next couple of years. I think at government levels, there will be a lot of regularization of AI that I also see as a future that's going to take place.
Okay. I think you well covered that very well, Rebecca, where you said, it is important. There's no way that you cannot say no
Can't
to
escape it.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
get scared about it and say, hey, my job is going. I read this quote somewhere, and I think it so well relates to what you explained so far, right? AI is not going to replace your job, but a person knowing AI will replace your job, right? So you might as well learn to
absolutely.
do that, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
cool. Thank you. Uh, Almost like the kind of final one. As a lifelong
Yeah,
learner, how do you prioritize continuous learning in your busy schedule? And what are
yeah.
some recent areas where you sought new knowledge or skills?
I'm always learning, because I'm in the marketing space, and marketing technology is like, it's changing so drastically and rapidly that
Mhm.
if I don't keep up, I'm the loser, in this space. So it's super important for me to figure out what's the best strategies to use to do this, what we have done. What I did at LogMe in like 7 or 8 years ago probably is irrelevant right now. So, from that perspective, from a skill honing and a skill development perspective, I'm always learning.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
other thing that I have been extremely keen on is sustainable business, right? I think everybody needs to think about the world. This does affect me a little bit about how the world is sort of crumbling because of how we use it. So, how can we, even in a SaaS tech startup,
Mhm.
use sustainability? Like, what can you use to
Okay.
improve, I did a course on this some time back, because this is something that has been pretty exciting for me, and I feel like we as human beings need to think about this, that
Mhm.
in our day-to-day lives, in our businesses, how can you be more sustainable, how can you be more uh, good to the environment, what kind of practices, IT practices, can you do to be like not creating so much carbon emission, how, what can you do to not create so much waste? So this is something that is something new that I have been trying to read and also do different courses about.
Okay, that's a very interesting one, Rebecca, to go ahead and actually associate it with sustainability and say how not to add more waste to the already existing one in the
Yeah,
entire world or the
yeah,
universe, right?
yeah,
I think that's not something that I personally know about a lot of people wanting to do or even
yeah,
learning how to go ahead and do that, right?
yeah. All large organizations have a mandate to do it, but yeah, the smaller organizations don't think much about it, right? But like Apple has sort of agreed to be sustainable by so much percent in so many years, and so is Microsoft and other. So large companies do,
Right.
but I feel like whatever work life I have left in maybe another 20 years, I want to make sure that this is something that I want to sort of be a part of, and how I can contribute to that.
Lovely, lovely. Maybe, you should write something about this on LinkedIn once, you have time to do that, of course.
Yeah,
Or something
100%.
and how it kind of helped you, right? And what
Yeah, sure.
the outcome because of that you actually implemented.
Yeah.
We'll wait for that. Okay, so we'll go with a quick rapid fire round, Rebecca. Okay,
Okay, let's
like,
go.
like
Mm-hmm.
one word response or a one sentence response kind of a thing. The first
Mm-hmm.
one word to describe your leadership style.
Uh, Compassionate.
Wow, okay, lovely. Okay, what's your favorite work-related app if you have one?
Well, maybe Slack, but we don't use it currently in my organization, but I miss
You do miss Slack. Okay, I can relate to that. What's your
Slack.
favorite way to unwind after a long day at work?
I had three dogs. Coming home to them is my favorite way to unwind, and they're always waiting. They are just eager to play with you. So they are my biggest stress busters.
Lovely. Okay, nice. Um, what's the most significant change you witnessed in your industry in the past year?
I think I am in the marketing space. I think the technologies used in marketing has seen massive changes in the last couple of years. I think we are going to witness the biggest change in 2024, where for marketing, it used to be something called as retargeting ads, which is not going to be existent, and we don't have a backup for that, or we haven't thought about a backup as an industry. So retargeting is one of the huge spend that we will do from marketing point of view, from an advertising point of view, which will not exist at some point of this year. And then we still haven't figured out how we're going to tackle that. So I'm looking forward to that. But otherwise, what I did at Akamai or Logmein was what I'm doing today. There is a lot of technology that is there to assist you today. I think that's the biggest change I've seen.
Okay, great. Okay, then what's the best career advice you have received so far?
The biggest career advice that I have received so far is actually the advice that I basically take and move forward is that I have not stopped. I have had some amazing, wonderful, superb lady bosses who I aspire to be like. And I think when I sort of had one big major failure in my life, and they said, it's fine, feel bad about it, and then your life is your life, it's in your hands, it's not in their hands or anybody else's hands, so you have to pick it up. So that's what I have done, and I've seen a huge transformation because now my motto is to irrespective of, and so what happens, nothing affects me because I know that I'm capable of moving on from any situation.
Okay, that's lovely. I think it's not an easy one.
Yeah.
The last one, I'm not sure if you do have any favorite quote as such. If you do, what is it and what is it that inspires you and why?
No, I don't have any favorite quote. My quotes keep moving very regularly. I, I don't. I'm a very positive person. I believe in law of attraction, and I believe you become what you feel and what you are. So I try to be positive 99.9%, and it sort of works out for me. Yeah.
Brilliant. I completely know that you're a very positive person. I have that experience with you. So, yeah, perfect. Okay. The last one for today, Rebecca. How do you
Yeah.
stay ahead of industry trends and what advice would you give to professionals seeking to stay current in a rapidly changing field like yours?
Yeah. So I think as you grow up in your career, and this generation especially, this is my advice to the generation just below me, which is the 20s and the 30s folks, is that the minute you say, I have done this, I know everything about this, your failure starts at that point because you don't know everything about this and you have not learned everything about this. So your mindset has to be open and for continuous feedback and continuous learning. If learning is a lifelong journey and a lifelong thing that you have to take to your grave, and you have to keep learning. I learn from my nephews, I learn from the people that help me in my house, I learn from every single member of my team, I learn from my bosses, I learn from my peers. So I keep an open mind and I'm always okay with feedback. I don't take it as something that somebody has it's I don't take it personally. I think of that as an opportunity for me to get better. So this is super important as a mindset to be a lifelong learner. And if you what that means is you have an open mind and you're always accepting and acquiring, and you're not taking it personal. You're basically taking that as an opportunity to get better.
Okay, I think this is the secret to your success. I see that as it, and you just let it out today, right? Like you mentioned, like both of us worked in Logme, no, though not directly, I have known you a little
Yeah,
bit in terms of whatever,
yeah,
some of the things that we have done together. I've always found you very chirpy and cheerful and easy to approach, right?
yeah,
And there were so many things that I remember I wasn't aware, and you were like, "Oh, that's okay. It's only so much." You made it look so light and made me so comfortable
yeah,
that it didn't make
yeah,
me feel awkward that I wasn't aware of this. So I think,
yeah,
and when you say you need to have that open mindset, and learning is always important, even after being in 21 years in this career and reaching where you are today, right? You're in such a big
yeah,
company, leading such big teams, global teams, so many teams that have won great
yeah,
awards and a VP and
yeah.
all that stuff. And when you still say you're continuing to learn, I think that really, really speaks for it as to how you continue to grow and where you are today. So
Thank
perfect,
you.
Rebecca. Cool. Thank you
Thank you so
so
much.
much, Rebecca. I think I do have my own takeaways as well from our conversation, which I will seriously start following. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
so thank you
And
so much for your time, Rebecca, today. It was lovely talking to you.
same here, Shamila. I had so much fun. I didn't realize you've become such a pro podcaster. I had so much fun having this chat with you, and I wish you all the best, and hope you have a lot of success.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Lovely talking to you again. You have a great and lovely year ahead.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Hi, everyone. I hope you've had great takeaways from our conversation. I think some of the ones that I have learned is have an open mindset, continuous learning. It is a lifelong journey so that you continue to grow. And I think for the younger generation is you need to build your foundation very strong. And for the ones who've been in the industry for really long, please be bold and speak out, voice it out, and do not stop at any point. If you have it in you, you've just got to, don't get bogged down. You continue to move on irrespective of any pitfalls that you have. Just get up, forget it, and move forward. I think these are brilliant ones. And you can see that this has really worked well in Rebecca's career. And I'm sure it'll work for you as well. Please leave your comments and any other feedback in the comment section, and watch you soon in the next episode.